Good morning. Thanks for joining us for Oil Market Highlights with Vanda Insights for the week of May 21, 2018. I'm Vanda, founder and CEO of Vanda Insights based in Singapore. Venezuela and Iran. As we begin this week, these two OPEC producers are dominating market sentiment for different reasons, but a common concern, a potential reduction in their supply. Venezuela went to the polls on Sunday. The turnout was thin amid an opposition boycott, as was expected, but incumbent Nicolas Maduro is widely expected to return to power as president. The fear in the oil markets is the US carrying out its threat of imposing sanctions against Venezuela's oil sector once the results are out. We see that as unlikely. Unlike Iran, with which the US has no trade dealings whatsoever, it is more intricately connected with Venezuelan PDVSA and Venezuelan oil sector. The US imported about 420,000 barrels per day of Venezuelan crude in the first 2 months of this year and exported about 120,000 barrels per day of refined products to that country. The latter are up substantially and have scope to rise further as PDVSA is being forced to import more fuel because its own refining rates are very low. Even more significantly, PDVSA subsidiary Citgo is a major refiner in the US with a capacity of about 758,000 barrels per day, quite substantial, and it also owns a large distribution and retail network in the US. Meanwhile, the US and Europe are on a collision course over Iran sanctions. The European Commission on Friday launched a process to activate its blocking statute, which forbids European companies from complying with US extraterritorial sanctions and aims to have it in place by the 6th of August. The EC is also encouraging member states to explore the possibility of what it calls one-off bank transfers to the Central Bank of Iran to help Iran receive payments for its oil. With this move, we are in uncharted territory, basically, when it comes to Iran sanctions. Will the European refiners retreat from Iranian crude purchases? And will the protection and indemnity clubs in Europe refuse to insure Iranian oil shipments? We'll have to wait and see. But when it comes to the US forcing countries to cut back their crude imports from Iran, as it did during the 2012 to 2015 sanctions era, we expect the Asian buyers, especially China and India, to push back this time around. Nearly 3/4 of Iran's 2.2 million barrels per day of crude exports are consumed in Asia alone. Now, what about OPEC? It is already under pressure. Consumers are worried about a continuing rally in crude past the $80 level. Saudi Energy Minister Khalid Al-Falih held talks with his counterparts in the US, South Korea, and India, as well as with the IEA's Executive Director Fatih Birol, and with fellow producers Russia and the UAE last week. If the crude reaches $80 per barrel level and continues to rally beyond that, OPEC will be forced to respond. It aspires to be a market balancing agent, which means it has to add supply when there isn't enough, as much as mopping up any excess. If supply tightens by close to, let's say, 500,000 barrels per day in the coming months, due to a combination of Iran and Venezuela, or any other unforeseen disruptions, one of the most straightforward options will be to cut loose the 10 non-OPEC collaborators led by Russia, which have reduced supply by about 600,000 barrels per day. Thank you for watching. For our expert views on the oil markets, check out www.vandainsights.com. Thank you.